Hello, hello. So let's talk about how I remember when this palette came out. I think it was $26 or something. And of course, these beauty YouTubers, right, are trying to get you to buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. Oh my god, it's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I remember commenting on one of these beauty gurus' YouTube videos. I commented how this was $26, and yet the cocktail collection I had just tried, those palettes were like $35 each. They were $35. They were smaller. They weren't associated or licensed with any brand, show, like product. Like they were just like these cocktail themed Glamlite palettes. And they were not very good. They were not good. They were, at this point, I would say some Glamlite's worst formula I have ever tried. And as someone who was beginning to use Glamlite, and it was the first products that I tried, and I was so excited to try them, it was such a freaking letdown. It was so underwhelming. I was so angry because it felt like everyone was praising Glamlite, and no one was talking about when the product is bad. And I'm hoping if you're seeing my channel and you're a part of my channel, you'll know that I try to always be super honest and give you the information that I have, because I was so irritated at the time when all these YouTubers were promoting this Rick and Morty 30 shade palette from Glamlite. And I love Rick and Morty. I think I have the first 3 seasons on DVD. Like, I really like Rick and Morty. This is such a good show. I remember seeing the show for the first time back in like 2015, y'all. Like, this show's been around for a while. I was so happy to see this. I was so excited. But I have this palette and this collection coming out right after trying the cocktail collection put such a bad taste in my mouth that I did not want to try it. So I just bought this recently when it came back onto the website. I don't know how much I paid for it now. I don't know if the price went up or not. I'll have to check it again. Everything's going to be down below. But this is the Rick and Morty palette, and I have just the palette. I don't have anything else that came with it, but I was excited to try it. And here is my conclusion. So here it looks exactly the same. You got a slightly raised product. It's like a little bit raised, so it's not completely flat. So that's kind of cool. But here's the actual palette. The back side, I think it pretty much has the same exact information. As you can see here, there's a huge mirror here. We can see Rick and Morty pulling his eyes open, so you need a look. But here is the color story for this palette. See, this is what I'm talking about. I just did a review on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air collection from Glamlite, and I said I was going to give the palette away because I felt like I already had these shades. Look at this palette. Does this not look similar? We have hot pinks, these hot purples, these neon kind of shades, we have the blues, and now this palette adds in addition a row of oranges. Like, do y'all see here? Like, we have the greens. This is basically the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air palette, like, reamped. Like, this is the big version of that palette. So this is what I'm talking about when sometimes you don't need every palette. I'm not super attached to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so I'm glad I'm not going to keep it. But let's talk about this product. So we have, I think, a really good kind of balance in between the amount of shimmers and the amount of mattes in this palette. I like the way that it's set up. It makes sense to me. We have this row here of warm colors. I think it's overall very warm, a very cool palette, I mean. But we have a row of warm colors. We have this kind of section of green. We got these like teal. It goes into blues. It goes into super dark. It goes into like this light blue, it turns into purples, and then bright pinks, and then darker purples. Like, I really like the setup of this palette. Like, this makes sense to me. It makes it not just very beginner friendly, but just super easy to just pull the palette, do a look, and be like, I'm going to do a green look, I'm going to do a purple look, I'm going to do a blue look, I'm going to do a dark blue look. It has really good shades and colors in here. One of my issues I have with this palette, though, is that the shimmers will not pick up with a brush. I think the majority of the shimmers will not pick up with a brush. I had to use my finger, and once I used my finger, it did look beautiful, but it sucks I do have to pick them up with a finger instead of a brush. In terms of the matte shades, I think per usual, the same wonderful matte formula. I think that Glamlite has their matte shade colors pretty much down. I rarely ever have an issue with their mattes. It's usually the shimmers that are kind of on a 50-50. So for this palette, if you don't like to use this finger, not this finger, a finger, if you don't like to use your fingers to do your makeup, I don't think I recommend this palette, because you will have to dip into the shimmer shades with your fingers if you really want to try and get the level of pigment and just kind of pizzazz these shimmers should be giving. There's some weird ones in here. So let's show off. I really loved this. Was it this pink or this pink? Oh man, I can't remember. Let's swatch them both. I think it was this brighter one. Oh, this one. It had to have been this one. This pink is so beautiful. I think I also want to do, let's see. I really like this kind of blue. It reminds me of the sky. And then, let's just do those two for now. We have the pink and blue. Very pretty, very pigmented. Oh my god, this pink on my eye. Barbie dreams. And then this blue just reminds me of that. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just that Britney Spears blue we were all wearing in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, am I right? Like, that's what these shades remind me of. But there were some weird ones in here, and I want to swatch those as well. So there's some different formulas with these shimmers. For example, this blue is so weird. It is squishy. It is a gel. It is so wet. It is literally, let's see if I can get closer. This is a gel. I don't know if that was ever mentioned, but that is, it's like, it feels like an ink pad. Like, do you see me just like this? It's like an ink pad. It is so bizarre. It's like ink. It really is like ink. It's a very strange color. I've never felt a texture like that, except for the ColourPop kind of jelly eyeshadows, which makes me worry that this shade might dry out, because the ColourPop jelly shade eyeshadows come in like little pots that come with tops, and you can close them so they don't dry out. So this makes me worry if this is going to dry out or not. And then we have these two darker shades up here that are super duper dry. They're so dry. Like, can you hear it? That is, you can actually hear it. Like, it is so dry. This is a really pretty color though, because it reminds me of the sky. It's got sky, it's got super duper sparkle on it. Let me go a little harder. It's like a gray blue kind of shade. A little bit hard to get on the eye, but look at that. A lot of sparkle for that shade. And it reminds me of the night sky. It's really pretty. I think I'm trying to pick, because I feel like I want to pull some shades out to put the shades that I liked from the Prince of Bel-Air palette into this one. I wasn't too keen on this orange. Like, it's all right, but I think I've seen this before. It's pretty, but I think I've seen this before. Same with this purple. I feel like Glamlite constantly puts this purple in. This purple with, like, blue shift, and I'm kind of over it. Like, they're pretty colors, but I'm kind of over it. And then, maybe this pink. This pink I think was okay. Like, nothing crazy. Like, it was alright. Not bad. Let's try this blue. Ooh, that's such a pretty blue. This blue, this shade of blue always reminds me of my high school prom dress, because that's the shade of blue that it was. It's really, really pretty. But I hope you can see here, like, these are really good quality shimmers. They just need to be applied with a finger, not a brush, because it's not going to pick up with a brush. And I wet my brush, and I try to grab it, and it still will not come onto it. But yeah, like, these are pretty much, the mattes in here, I think, are what you should expect from Glamlite. Like, look at that. Come on now. Let's do a third one, maybe like this purple right here. That is a really good combo. How pretty. Look at that pigment. That looks really, really pretty. Look at that. These shades are pigmented, they're always pigmented. I wish they would have done a little bit more of these, but you can see Rick's head in this blue, which makes sense, because that's the color of his hair and his shirt. So that makes sense to me. Over here you'll find Morty. You can see that print of Morty. That one doesn't make as much sense to me. I don't know why they printed him on the purple. Kind of wish they would have had maybe a yellow for his shirt, or maybe if they had printed him on this blue instead for his pants, which there's another imprint on there of their, I guess of their little traveling through space machine, their UFO. But this one I feel like should have probably been on the green. right? Like that's what I feel makes sense to me. I feel like this color story is really bright and colorful, and it totally does match with this theme that we see in Rick and Morty. This is definitely something I would expect from the show. I think they got the color stories pretty spot on. I think the shades in here are doing very well as well. Like I said, this palette definitely is a really good palette. It's very colorful. I totally recommend it. I think if this is something you're interested in, I would say pick this one up instead of the Prince of Bel-Air version. But some people don't need all this color, in which case I say pick the Prince of Bel-Air. I think that palette, you know, is pretty decent. I think the shades in this are a lot better, but some people don't need all this color, and they don't need this size, and that's fine as well. So yeah, I think that's my overall review. I really enjoyed using this palette. I used the entire palette. I really like this, and I'm glad to have this one in my collection and to be able to give away my Prince of Bel-Air one. Let me know down below if y'all watch Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty, but other than that, wubba lubba dub dub.